Dear Diary, our form has been a bit mixed since the FA Cup quarter-final win over Everton. We lost expectedly to now promoted Crystal Palace, blowing a 1-0 lead away, and frustratingly dropped points with draws against Bristol City and Blackpool. Thankfully, we have managed to pick up a few wins over Rotherham and Blackburn, both at home, so we're still inside the playoff spots with only 3 championship games left, including our next one against Coventry. Before that though, we'll try and make our way to an FA Cup final versus West Ham, but face a very hard ask against Liverpool in the semi, especially as I need to rest some players due to fixture congestion, including next-gen listee Ben Hardy, and we've also got a few injuries. The squad dynamics seem to be off a bit as well, despite the form since I've got here. Hopefully that doesn't derail our push to end the season, especially with me starting to work towards my Continental A licence. Until next time. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 41 of FMOE here on Shaun Does FM with Cardiff City. I hope you are doing well, and coming up today we play an FA Cup semi-final taking on Liverpool, and off the back of that we take on Coventry in probably our toughest game left of the regular season of the championship as we try and hold our spot for the playoffs. So if you are looking forward to today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying this series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated, but we have played quite a few games off the back of yesterday's episode where we did take on Southampton in the league and also Everton in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. If you missed that episode, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner, and as shown in that intro, our form since then has been just a little bit up and down. We did lose to Crystal Palace. That was not too unexpected, with those guys now promoted up to the Premier League for next season, despite the fact that we did take an early lead. So it was somewhat frustrating, but expected. The more frustrating results there, we dropped points at home to Bristol City. That one in particular, very frustrating. Good late goal there to Ikavelia, which made sure that Bristol City did pinch some points off us. And also away at Blackpool, actually took a late goal to Callum Robinson there for us to grab a point, but both teams below us on the table, who I thought we should be beating, thankfully, we got the job done though in 2 other games, at home to Rotherham and then at home as well to Blackburn, who are a little bit above us on that league table. So that one in particular was actually quite a good result, and as you would have also seen through that intro, that does keep us in 5th spot on the championship table, albeit it does look like that is the most that we can do now with only 3 games left in the season. We cannot go above Southampton, so we are going to be taking part in the playoffs as long as we keep our spot in there and do not blow things in these last 3 league games of the season. And coming up today, we take on the team up in 3rd in Coventry. But before then, we do have the small matter of an FA Cup semi-final as we do take on Liverpool. And if we get past these guys, we could be in with a chance, because West Ham have defeated Chelsea in the earlier kickoff. So if we do somehow find a way here to beat Liverpool, they will be our opponents in this season's FA Cup final. And with the teams we've already beat so far in this FA Cup campaign, that looks like a semi-achievable task, albeit this one coming up might be one bridge too far, I do feel like, as we take on Liverpool. A quick look at them before we do explain a little bit of team selection going into this one. They currently find themselves 3rd in the Premier League. Jurgen Klopp is still in charge, and they've still got some pretty recognisable names there from the team that they do currently have. The likes of Virgil van Dijk, Mo Salah, and as you can see, they've just added a little bit of extra depth there as well. The likes of Justin Intadibo in defence, and Timber, who they are playing in the midfield as well. So it is a strong Liverpool lineup. Definitely, I think, the strongest team we have taken on so far since we have joined Cardiff City, and probably the strongest team we've taken on so far in the entirety of this save. But we do come into this one with a little bit of confidence, having already beaten a few teams from the Premier League, albeit not the same stature as Liverpool. But we are going to put out a bit of a rotated team for this game, so if we go over and have a look At the tactics, you can see a few regular starters there, the likes of Atide, Jackalis, Colwell. The midfield's decent there with Rowles, and also we do have Poussin in goal. But apart from that, quite a bit of rotation going into this one, and that is because a lot of players are on a heavy match load and are quite injury prone heading into this one. And I do think this is a game we're not that likely to win anyway. We'll try the fresher players because usually the fresher players do actually go a little bit better than the tired ones anyway. So it's a little bit of a catch-22 there, not putting out our strongest team. But in a weird way, it might actually help us in this game. And if it doesn't pay off, then those players will be nice and fresh for the remainder of the championship season as we do look to push forward into those playoffs. So I think we're playing things somewhat smart here, even though it might hurt us in this game against Liverpool. But would we have beaten them anyway? I am not too sure, but hopefully, despite the rotation, we can pull off a bit of an upset in this one, and we'll come back shortly with the team sheets for this FA Cup semi-final from Wembley as we take on Liverpool. And here are the team sheets for this FA Cup semi-final. There are Liverpool in a little bit of mixed form, but as you can see, that is a very strong Liverpool lineup that Jurgen Klopp has put out for this one. And as mentioned earlier, we have quite a bit of rotation, the likes of Davies, Patterson, Hughes and Sterling at wing-back, and also arguably Nelson at centre-back. But hopefully we can provide a bit of cheek here and maybe make our way to a final versus West Ham. And it's only taken 5 minutes. So the first highlight of this one is a corner in favour of Liverpool. Harvey Elliott will float this one far post, but McGuinness will head this one away, and it is Mo Salah out there. Jackalis will try and deal with him. He gets a shot off, but thankfully from a tight angle that just goes wide, and still 0-0 early doors. And 20 minutes on from that first corner, we do have our next highlight in this one. Yet again, Liverpool float that one into the mix, but Poussin claims that one. You will see Jackalis has picked up a yellow card, and also we have dropped back to a cautious mentality. Thought that might be a bit sensible against a team like Liverpool, but so far they are well and truly on top of us in this one, but yet to put the ball in the back of the net. Good chance there for Luis Diaz cutting inside from that left wing, but thankfully puts that one over the bar. And now we might get a chance to do something here off of this goal kick, and we do somewhat keep position there, but Badarina does take that one off Patterson, who has gone down and is lying on the floor. So it looks like we're going to be playing for a bit here with only 10 men. Mo Salah there with a chance, but Poussin makes a decent save. And now we wait for Patterson to be taken off the field, I think, before this next bit of play can take place. We'll just wait and see if this is a serious injury to him, and he feels like he can shake it off. We'll just wait here for the medic to take Patterson off of the field, and eventually it does happen. We just shouted some encouragement at our guys as well to see if that will stop this corner from happening. It doesn't, but thankfully McGuinness does head that one away, albeit yet again Mo Salah out there on that left-hand wing to try and do something, but thankfully nothing else happens, and still 0-0 just past the half-hour mark. And that is half-time in this FA Cup semi-final. All the highlights so far have been in Liverpool's favour, but we do go into the shed still locked up at 0-0, as you can see stats-wise. We are well and truly under pressure in this one, albeit that isn't unexpected, playing our fluid counter-attack against the team like the Reds. We are going to make some changes, though, on both wings. Neither of those guys performing too well, so Galasai and Robinson can come on for them. And hopefully with some of that usual first-team impact, we might be able to pinch this one in the second half. We'll get it back underway, still locked up at 0-0. And nearly 10 minutes into the second half, we have our first highlight here, a free kick to Liverpool. Timber tries to put that one in the top right corner, but a good clearance there off of the line. So an early chance there for Liverpool. And right off the back of that, they do get a corner, and this time they finally put the ball in the back of net. Harvey Elliott with the assist, and Fabinho puts that one away somewhat through the hands of Poussin, but to be fair, that's been coming for the prior 55 minutes. A little bit disappointing that it did come from a set piece, and the ball did look like there it might have teleported through one of our players, but can't complain too much. We go 1-0 down, just shy of the hour mark, and while we are here, we might make a sub as well. Curtis Nelson not going too well. Urhoghide can come on for him. We'll also go on to balanced and try and get an equaliser in this last half hour. And shortly off the back of that goal to Liverpool, we are down the other end for a free kick of our own. Urhoghide gets his head on the end of that one. It comes off the post, and Liverpool cleared that one away. Was that our chance? Still 1-0 down, about to enter the last 20 minutes. And we are just entering the last 20 minutes of this game. We are going to make our last 2 subs. At this time, Ruben Colwell has gone down to a red heart. So Mohamed Itataren can come on for him. And Ian Hughes, the youngster starting at right back today, he's only been okay. Ben Hardy quite tight at the moment with Perry in currently out injured. Can come on at right back for the later stages of this one. And hopefully we can still grab an equaliser and make this one go to extra time. And not off the back of those last couple of substitutions, yet again Liverpool here do have a corner looking to grab a cushion goal. They put that one into the mixer. We deal with it somewhat. Timber there unleashes one from just outside the post. Thankfully, it misses the target and Liverpool still hold a 1-0 lead with 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
And we're just about to enter injury time in this game, and for the first time in quite a while, the rigger can come out because Callum Robinson has picked up an injury. Hopefully that's not too serious, even though he is just a backup player at this stage. But that does mean we are going to have to change some things here, going down to 10 men for the latter stages of this one, seeing as we are in need of a goal. I think we'll just put Rels as the sole defensive midfielder for the latter stages of this one, and also go to a higher defensive line and a higher press as well, and see if we can get anything going here on an attacking mentality for the last few minutes. But Liverpool, with that man advantage, are on the attack. Good effort there from Hardy to try and get the ball, and he will eventually, although Galasay there does lose out on possession. Good chance there for Diogo Jota, but that one does come off the post. But that probably means the rest of this game is going to be played down Liverpool's end, and we are going to end our FA Cup run losing to the Reds by 1-0, albeit no shame in that at all for a team down in the Championship, who when we did take over were just outside of that relegation zone. But I think that will do it in this FA Cup semi-final, and indeed it will. So unfortunately we cannot make the final. As I said earlier, that would have been quite winnable, I think, taking on West Ham in that FA Cup final, but we won't get the chance. It's going to be Liverpool taking on West Ham, as we do suffer a 1-0 defeat. And to be fair, we got absolutely battered in that game, so can't complain at all with that result. We'll tell the boys they gave it their best, but we were the underdogs. That keeps everyone nice and happy going into that second game of today's episode against Coventry. We'll come back shortly and do a little bit of a league update prior to that one, as we try and hold our spot in the playoffs with only a few games left in the league season. And we've gone forward about a week prior to this Championship game in today's episode, as we do take on Coventry. Here were the results earlier on in that day where we did take on Liverpool in that FA Cup semi-final. As you can see, with the teams who were around us and did have a game in hand, a lot of those results actually did go in our favour. That is why we were able to stay in the playoff positions in that 5th spot. And we take on Coventry today off the back of a 2-2 draw away at Sunderland. But this is the nitty-gritty time now, and as I mentioned earlier, this is definitely our hardest game left in the season, because if we have a look at the 2 games which we are going to show you guys probably in tomorrow's episode, we take on Reading and Luton Town, both at home, and those teams are in and just outside of the relegation zone. So hopefully we can pick up all 6 points from those 2 games. If we can win this game, I give us a massive chance of staying inside those playoff places and taking part of those at the end of this week. But this tough game coming up is against Coventry. They find themselves third in the Championship currently, even though the immediate expectation was only 13th. And as you can see, prior to that draw against Sunderland, they were in a real hot spell of form as well. They have players like Kevin Strootman and Nathan Baxter on their books. He is somewhat in the mix for a call-up to the England squad for the World Cup, apparently, which is coming up at the end of this season in game. So that is interesting. Hopefully we can get the better of him here at the Coventry Building Society Arena. But as I said earlier, taking on a team playing a 5-2-1-2. This is going to be interesting. As I said, our toughest match left in the regular season, and we do bring back a few more of our first choice players for this one as well. So hopefully we can at the very least get a point out of this one, and we'll come back shortly with the team sheets as we take on Coventry and try and stay inside those playoff places. And here are the team sheets for this Championship clash. There are Coventry. They will be in the light blue today. We are in our grey pinky uniform, and there you can see they have a decent looking lineup there we have still made a few changes. Centre back today, Urhog High will start alongside McGuinness. Also Ihatalan at right wing. Galasay a little bit injury prone, and the same is the case for Atete. So Trizoldi can start up front in his place, but hopefully we still have enough about us here to pick up some points on the road. And yet again, 5 minutes into this one, we do get our first highlight, and yet again it is the opposition on the attack. Dendoncker tries to go through some players there, but thankfully we do get the ball back, albeit under a bit of pressure there right in front of goal, but Pussine clears that one away, albeit straight to a Coventry player. And yet again, Dendoncker is in possession, no doubt a player we need to keep an eye out on in this one. But thankfully, so far Coventry have just given the ball away when they are on the front foot. And we try and hoof this one forward to Trizoldi, but Coventry will get it back. He nearly gets the ball back for us there, but they do switch this one out to the right-hand side and start to mount yet another attack. Nice ball, that one for Morton, but thankfully a little bit of a block in there. Safe save for Pussine, and still 0 all coming up to the 10-minute mark. And 10 minutes off the back of that opening highlight, we are back down Coventry's end here for a free kick just outside of the box. And Morton, from just outside of it, unleashes a shot. He somehow gets that one through Pussine. That's his 22nd goal of the season. And unfortunately, we go 1-0 down here fairly early. And as you can see, that does put us on the brink of slipping out of those playoff spots. Good strike there from Morton, albeit not too sure what Pussine's doing in goal there. Looks like he was wrong-footed, even though that one went straight at him. And it is 1-0 Coventry early on in this one, albeit good work there from Colwell. And we might get a chance shortly down the other end, but then Dendoncker does recover that for Coventry, and Gibson plays this one in behind yet again for Morton, but thankfully this time misses the target, so still 1-0 Coventry. And only a few minutes off the back of those good chances for Coventry, one of which they did take, we are now down the other end for our first real attack of this game. We try and pick out a Ihatalan there at the far post, but Coventry do clear their lines, albeit Dendoncker gifts that one away to Hardy, but unfortunately we gift it back, albeit eventually get it back anyway and start to hopefully keep the ball for a bit of a period here in this game, because so far we haven't done that. They are pressing quite high below. Look at it here, Coventry. And so far, it is putting us under a bit of pressure, albeit now Juckelis does get in behind somewhat. Coventry, edge of the box, but a 1-2 here. Some good short passing as we try and create a chance here. Coventry will unleash one, get some help from the underside of the crossbar, and Connor Coventry, who else, is going to score a goal here at Coventry. And there is our equaliser, not too long off the back of us going down. Some good patient play here, which isn't really what we are about here at Cardiff City. We usually play with a higher tempo on the counter-attack, but well-worked goal that to make it 1-1. And about 10 minutes off the back of that equaliser, it is now Coventry here in possession just inside of our half, and Harwood Bells will play that one back to his centre-back partner. Now, a missed header there. Morton gets another good chance, but this time Pussine makes a good save to keep it at 1. Also, I think it's fair to say Coventry so far in this game probably have been on the front foot a little bit more, but so far it is 1-1. Herhog Hyde will deal with that corner, and still locked up here with 10 minutes left in the first half. And that is half time in this championship clash, 1-1. As you can see, Coventry have definitely been on the front foot a bit more in that first half, but thankfully Coventry did equalise for us off the back of that goal to Morton. So we do go into the sheds here locked up at 1-1. A bit unfortunately though, Ihatalan has picked up a minor orange injury, so we'll play it safe, albeit Galasay is quite injury prone at the moment, but hopefully he'll get through the second half here without any issues. But there'll be a 1 sub here at half time, and hopefully we can hold on to a point or even maybe pinch a few more in the second half. We'll get things back underway, locked up at 1-1. And it's only taken just over a minute for our first highlight here of the second half. It's a free kick, and I think that was McGuinness who got his head on the end of that ball from Coventry, but unfortunately that one does come off the post as we do try and hold on to possession. We will do so, but still 1-1 early doors in the second half. And shortly off the back of that opening chance of the second half, we are back in action yet again. This time we are clearing our lines through Pussine, and Coventry will boot this one deep, and O'Hare gets in behind. Good chance there, but thankfully Gaio, whatever his name was, just puts that one wide, and still 1-1 10 minutes into the second half. And yet again, only a few minutes off the back of that previous highlight, we are down the other end for a throw-in, but unfortunately Mateju puts a bit too much on that one, and we lose out on position. But thankfully, Erdhog Hyde does some good work there for us to get it back. Now Hardy, just inside the box, right on the edge, will play this one back to Coventry. Puts that into the mix, a good chance there for Trizoldi, but heads that one just wide. And it is still 1-1 as we do come up to the hour mark, and I think it's time for us to make a few more substitutions. Jacques is struggling out there, but also Coventry down to a red heart. Patterson can come on for him, and Davies will come on for Jacques with Robinson having been injured in that prior game. He can go out right and Galasai out left as we look to find a winning goal here in this last half hour. And just about into the last 20 minutes of this game, we do have a throw right on the halfway line. We somehow keep position there as Isaac Davies does get that back after they do make a decent tackle on Colwell, but now a decent tackle there from Dendonka, and Coventry are on the counter-attack, but thankfully Hardy is there to play them up back to Pacine, although Galasai can't quite get his head on the end of that one. And now Coventry also on the attack. Morton there will put the ball in the back of the net, but surely he was offside, and indeed it is the case. A little hard to tell these days as the assistant referees don't actually put their flags up. It was actually a bit closer than I did think, but he was indeed offside. And with 20 minutes left, we are still locked up here at 1-1, but it might be time for us to make our last two substitutions. Trizoldi not playing that well today, albeit Colwell is down to a red heart. So what we might actually do here, instead of taking off Trizoldi, is take off Colwell, give him a freshen up, and bring on Atete for him. And that will mean we can shuffle around the rest of that attacking midfield so that they are in some more familiar positions. And Atete can go up front, and also Mateju only going okay. Dujon Sterling can come on for him as we search for a winning goal in these last 20 minutes. In less than a minute off the back of those last few substitutions, we do get a throw in here, albeit it is inside our own half, but Davies does do well there to keep the ball, but then Hardy does miss out thanks to a good tackle, but good work there from Patterson, tracking back to get possession back for us. It's a little bit to and fro here, but we do eventually get the ball back, but loop it forward in Coventry back in possession and try and play their way forward here through another long ball. Now Davies will head that one for Galasay, tries to play a ball there forward, I think for Atete, but unfortunately does not connect, in Coventry get a chance to play out from the back through the potentially soon to be English goalkeeper in Baxter for that World Cup. A good work there from Trizoldi on the right wing to get possession back for us. Galasay, he will find key on Atete off of the bench, will grab his 20th goal of the season. That could be a massive one. Despite being on the back foot for large portions of this game, we do grab a 2-1 lead. Trizoldi, who so far has not had the greatest game, goes out to right wing. Key ball win there for us, and Galasay plays that one forward for Atete, puts it away bottom left corner, and we have a lead with just over 15 minutes left. And we're just entering injury time in this one. There is going to be 4 minutes of it, and we are now down the right end for a corner. McGuinness gets his head on the end of that one. It comes off the post. And off the back of that, we are showing the subsequent goal kick. Hopefully, we can hold on here for this 2-1 win. This would be a big one when you do consider those last two fixtures that we do have this season in the Championship before the playoffs, which hopefully we will make off the back of grabbing some points in this game. But hopefully, we do grab all three in Erdhog Hyde here. Hopefully, our boys can just hold possession for the last few seconds of this game, but unfortunately we don't do that. But to be fair, we are going to win a throw-in with time nearly up on the clock, as Sterling should take his time over this throw, and it does look like this one is just going to be a bit of a pointless end highlight. Indeed it is the case, because full time does get blown, and Keon Atete off of the bench does make sure that we do grab all 3 points here at Coventry, even though in terms of XG, we were certainly the second best team in that game, but overall stats, it was actually quite an even game. So in the end, I suppose we deserve that win. Maybe a draw would have been a fairer result, but we will take all 3 points from that one. And that should make sure, if we get the job done in both of those games coming up in tomorrow's episode, we will be in the playoffs. And as you can see, we do hold on to 5th spot, because all of the teams in and around us also picked up wins. So that was a very, Very important 3 points there. We are still in a playoff spot with 2 games left in the season after a 2-1 win away at Coventry. And back in the inbox off the back of that big win away at Coventry, as I mentioned, and then that one was quite important with all of the teams in and around us also picking up wins, and that should mean if we do what we're supposed to do in tomorrow's episode where we take on Reading and Luton Town, both right down the bottom of the table and both at home, we should make our way through to the playoffs and might get a chance to make our way up to the Premier League for next season. Unfortunately, Ihataran has picked up an injury, but thankfully only a minor one. He should be available for that game coming up next against Reading in tomorrow's episode. As you can see, Rinamata and Ihataran do have some minor injuries. They're nearly back from now, but Perry Ing and Callum Robinson are out with more serious ones. Robinson might appear in the second game of tomorrow's episode, but Perry Ing, it will probably take him the rest of this season to come back, and that is the reason that at the moment Hardy is quite tired, but we are just nursing him through that, through some self-diagnosed rest, so hopefully he does last the rest of the season, while we are a little bit lighter at right back, especially with the position that we have now got ourselves into. But that will do it for today's episode. We unfortunately missed out on the FA Cup in the semis against Liverpool, not too unexpected, but we did have a good run, but backed that up with a big win away from home against Coventry, which does mean we are still 5th on the championship table. If you did enjoy today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying this series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on, as well. As I said, tomorrow we'll come back for the last 2 games of the championship season, where hopefully we make sure we will be in the playoffs come the end of this week. They're 2 very winnable games. We take on Reading in 22nd and Luton Town in 21st, both at home. Hopefully 6 points there, and we make sure we are going to be in the playoffs for this season in the championship. So until then, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.